Welcome back to episode 5 of the 5-chapter rule. Today we'll be covering Babel, specifically the one done by Inoue Noriyoshi.
Inoue Noriyoshi.
That was close enough.
You're pretty close that time.
Because if you try looking for Babel, it's 2.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. That's a bit unusual, I find. So I don't know why that is. Maybe one came out from country first.
Maybe.
So the author of this one's only done this manga and its sequel, Babel II. So not really much else to go on from that. Now this is a mature manga. It's got genres of action, drama, mystery, sci-fi, and seinen as well as mature. So be aware, this is not a kid-friendly one.
No, it's a seinen for adults, really.
Yeah, I mean,
lots of violence and that sort of thing.
Yeah, a lot of that. It's more the violence and the psychological reason.
Yeah.
There was like a couple of panels of nudity, but it was, less than what you get in like some of the 15-year-old stuff, so. But anyway, the brief story summary of this one is the night of New Year's Eve. There's a countdown party at the luxury hotel Babel. Dissatisfied with his own status quo, the fate of a rookie hotel keeper, Kota, greatly changes by his encounter with mystery guests Ozaki and Naomi.
Naomi, yeah.
Karen names. And on the morning of New Year's Day, Kota witnesses a world-changing moment. With the Babel as a stage, and with a complex web of human relationships, what is Kota's mission?
So for context there, Babel in this context is the hotel in which they're in.
Yes, and it's very heavy reference to the Tower Babel from the Bible.
Yeah. And
there is certain references throughout this which very much link it to that as well. So the plot for me, it was very much like a Groundhog Day, but with different starting points. So you're still repeating instances, but not from like the same point each time. So it's reversing time.
Yeah, so for context as well, there are time-ish powers in this.
Yes, so the main character gets time powers. From what I've seen so far, it seems to be quite a detailed mystery story, which is quite nice to see. One thing I appreciate is that using the time powers has the consequence of aging you. So it kind of puts a limit on how much of the power you can use.
It also doesn't state how much it ages you.
I'm guessing that if you reverse a day, you've lost a day essentially. So you are still aging the same amount of time you've reversed, kind of thing, is what I gathered from it. So it would, if you only reverse them 1 or 2 days, it's nothing. But if you keep on doing it, then obviously it's going to cause problems. Without spoiling too much, did you feel the plot was the first 5 chapters, how well it was handled or whatever?
It's an odd one because it's got different time bits and it keeps adding different details and it won't go back to those details till a certain amount of chapters later. So it leaves a lot of things hanging straight away. But that's fine for a mystery sort of series.
Yes, it does so far seem to be very well thought out. Like the guy, when he was writing this, probably made, a big giant board with all sorts of notes and things, like a proper like mystery novel kind of thing. It seems very detailed. Which I like because I've read some mystery stuff and it's just like sparse, shall we say.
Alright, so chapter 1 is the setup of where he's basically down on his luck, finding he got the job that he didn't want because it was the only one that he could get. And he's kind of treated like garbage. Partially because he's not very good at expressing himself and that sort of thing. And then towards the end of chapter 1 is where the incident happens where I think a building falls into their building.
Well, basically, what happens is you see the very first page of chapter 1 is some missiles, missiles go flying through the sky. A satellite on fire comes crashing down
That's the one, yeah.
into various cities. And yeah, a skyscraper goes flying into Babel. You see loads of missiles everywhere. It's a really beautiful piece.
So you're wondering why that's happened and how this potential time element could be used to stop that happening?
Yeah, 12 hours. So we cut to 12 hours before. So it does a good job of setting the stake immediately, of what can happen, what the danger is, which is quite good because sometimes you got these things and you go, what? So what's the issue? What's the real big issue? How bad is it? And this very much clear shows you how bad it is. So I don't know how the issues with the hotel is going to lead to basically the end of the world kind of situation. So that'll be interesting to see how we get to
but
that
from what we've
point.
seen in, I think, chapters 3, 4, and 5, there's lots of informants and assassins in this area as well.
Yes, it's very much the hotel.
So that could be potentially why that's happening.
True, very much. Could be some assassinated. We'll have to see in that one. So I think the mystery plot is quite good. It's definitely made me read it. Like I was properly like trying. I wanted to see what the next chapter was. So I'll move on to the characters that we got. We've got quite a few characters we introduced who look like they're going to be important people. So we'll start off our main guy, who's Kyoto. He definitely, as you said, is the burnt out worker but is unable to communicate it. I think a lot of us can understand that. Can't understand that. He has feelings for his colleague, but again, unable to express it. And he's shown to have a very good moral compass, which I kind of like. But he's also realistically flexible, so he's not like so many characters where they either have a crap moral compass or they have this unwavering one which is just completely unrealistic. It actually felt like a real person.
It also adds like the question of, if he does actually assassinate somebody and then turns back time, did that actually happen?
An interesting point. I think in his mind it sort of does.
Yeah, but then it's like that's the kind of an interesting thing about him.
Yes, I really liked how the moral compass for this character is done. Actually, really good. He does progress quite a bit in the first few chapters because he hardens up quite quickly. I mean, he has to, but
that's under like the influence of the secondary main character, the assassin guy.
Which we'll get to in a sec.
But we'll get to that.
It's not drawn out his progression, but it's also not too quick either. I actually liked the pacing of the character's progression in this, so that's quite nice. Have you got anything more to say about this guy?
No, the problem with this character at the moment is he needs characters to play off because he's so naive at the moment. So you can't say
naive,
you can't say a lot about him until you compare him to the other characters around him.
Very true, very true. So then we'll move on to the one of the biggest sphere of influences for him, which is Ozaki, who is the cool badass who's able to take people down with great ease. Is super strong, super tough. Not scared of anything. Has one of a hell of a shotgun scar on his back as well, which surviving that would.
It brings into the account of what we'll get to him. The old man states that that lots of people have the time power, so potentially he also does, but just hasn't. He doesn't know, or he's just not letting it on that he does.
I haven't thought of that, to be fair. The story so far plays him as a tough guy with a heart of gold, through his sister, who we see right in the first panel as one of the people who were a victim of the missile attack. But there's definitely more to him to be revealed. There's definitely a bit of smoke around.
Because the chemistry right now is basically how each of the protagonists, this one and the previous one, are going to use each other, because that's what they're doing. It's the psychological thing of, I'll use him to get this goal, then he's going to use him to use the other goals.
Because they don't technically they're trusting each other on necessity rather than actual trust.
Yeah,
which is
at
always
least right now. At least
It's
right
interesting. I'm expecting it to be one of those ones where they do become really good mates.
I'd assume they'd be good friends, yeah.
So we have Niam. I always could pronounce his name. Now I can't. It's an English name as well, and I can't pronounce it. Naomi.
Naomi.
No. We haven't seen too much on her so far about spoilers. She's very much the classic beautiful lady, but is super flexible and a skilled assassin as well.
The ultimate reference I've seen for her is she is Ada Wong.
Yes, I didn't really think of that, but yes.
She is basically femme fatale, strong female protagonist.
Asian femme fatale.
Yeah.
Although she's and she clearly seems to be in a relationship with Ozaki. But we don't know too much about her. She's clearly got some past. And interestingly, we're seeing like something's not right with her, like something's wrong with her. She's suffering from pain suddenly, and
I've got theories for that, but
which I was wondering whether she was suffering morning sickness.
I also thought that.
Because she was clutching her stomach, and she was saying something about it can't be.
But then at one point she does reveal a bit of a bump, so I was thinking it is vaguely time powers.
Which would then mean that if it is time power, that means the baby has the time powers.
Or is that a red herring and doesn't matter at all? We don't know.
Oh, just think if the baby had time powers, that'd be crazy. She'd be rapidly getting more and more pregnant in the same day.
That's what I was thinking, but I'm like, I don't know. You can do anything with time powers.
That'll be an interesting point to see whether that actually comes to fruition in the next couple of chapters. Whether she keeps rewinding time and she's progressively more pregnant, and she's just like, what the hell?
Hey, potentially,
that'll be interesting.
Potentially, it could.
So definitely a lot more to this character to be revealed later on.
Yeah.
That'll be quite interesting. Another major character though I think
there's like 7 main characters.
One of the major ones is Yan, who is the mysterious guardian of time, who can turn back time, and he serves as the mentor for Kyoto. Interestingly, Yan is significantly younger than Howie Nooks, because he's been reversing time, and I think to save lives, and it's left him his body like double the age of the actual years. I think he's supposed to be like 40 or something, and he's actually got the body of like an 80 plus.
So I'll add the context to this particular bit. He has a watch that has the ability to manipulate time, which you can touch the hands, and you can manipulate the hands to move the time around. That's how he does it.
Oh, I thought it was just him, and I thought the watch was just a tool so that he could more accurately, so he could accurately turn the time back himself.
I'm not sure. I thought it was that, but it might just be a random thing.
Because they wouldn't explain how the other people have got power, so I guess it's actually the watch is just there to make it more accurate.
It's just because if he is a guardian of time, how does that get passed on? Because I thought it was like he passes the watch on to signify that he's passing the abilities on. Because then how does main protagonist manipulate time unless it's just the watch doing it?
That'll be an interesting point to see what is what whether it's the person or whether it's the watch.
Because he also wrote here, if it is the watch, there's a chance in the future that it may break or potentially get stolen as a plot point.
That's a good one, isn't it? Yeah.
And then I put, if he has a master as well who taught him how to do it to an extent. And it says his master can do stop time for longer. So maybe it depends on the person itself.
Yeah.
But then it's also odd that when he gives it to the main character, that he also has the same time as the old man to withdraw it back. Because if it's based on the person, it wouldn't be like 7 days or maybe.
Unless it's because of he's only starting out using the powers.
Maybe.
So
We don't know. We haven't got very far in this.
Yeah. So another last of the characters that I'll cover will be Akiyoshi, who it looks like your classic rundown detective who drinks far too much
Yeah, he's the
alcohol.
generic hardboiled detective.
A bit of a trope.
He's the informant, basically.
Yeah, he's not a detective at all, but he just looks like one. He doesn't attract. He's a trope character, but he doesn't detract from the story. He also has like amazing memory, which makes him extremely useful protagonist. But the amount of info he has is a bit disturbing.
But then a part of me was thinking, if he had a time power as well, does he remember other times?
That's a question I think is whether how much what powers affected, because we also see, I think right at the end, that the fortune lady actually has a bit of power herself. Her fortunes are actually accurate, so there's a bit of power to it.
Because she does a fortune of the tower, which represents the
Babel.
place itself. And then when she meets the protagonist for the first time, she says to him, "Well, you're not a human, are you?" So it's like,
you're
are the time people
you're not an
human?
ordinary human, are you?
Are the time people human at all?
It's a good question. I thought it's what you went ordinary, but yeah.
It's something like that.
So you got a nice range of characters, and they're unique from each other. They're not, and very distinct from each other. So it's quite nice. Too often you can get, when you get quite a lot of characters, they can be a bit samey, but they're all very distinctly different. It very much reminds me of a Poirot kind of style detective film where you've got these distinct characters featuring different parts of aspects of life.
I've also noticed as well, just randomly while I'm looking through these, a lot of the panels have the date and time on them. So
which I think is essential for time traveling.
Yeah. So you can link them together. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, very useful, because I think I've done one of a Groundhog Day kind of manga before, and I didn't know what was going on, what time. Is this bit has rewinded here? No, don't know. So having the times then makes it really useful. Makes it easy to follow.
Another random thing: the old man states there are 7 rules to using his time powers, but at the moment he's only stated 3 of them. So we'll get more of those later.
Yeah, true. I forgot about the rules.
Yeah, the first one is don't die, because if you die, you can't change anything.
Well, yeah, if you're dead, you're dead.
Yeah.
I like that rule. Don't get killed.
I think one of them is remember everything. It doesn't matter how insignificant, it might save your life eventually.
Yeah. That's quite a good one, yeah.
I can't remember the second one, but
it's a matter.
If I do, I'll put them on the video.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's people to read anyway.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to say about the characters before we move on to the art?
No, we've got all the main characters: the detective, the protagonist, the lady he likes, the badass brawler guy, the Ada Wong character, the old man, and the fortune girl, the woman who does fortunes.
Technically, you've also got Yukira, who is the love interest for the main protagonist, but she's not got much to do at the moment.
She's just there.
She's not much to say. She may have more to do later on. We'll have to see. So moving on to the category of art, the backgrounds for this manga are busy, very detailed. You can tell a lot of time has gone into these panels.
It feels like it's not. I mean, it's going to be hard to describe, but manga drawn now looks different than this. This is sort of like an 80s, 90s theme to me.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That fits the hotel theme, though. I'm fine with it. It's cool.
The characters have a very pseudo-realistic nook to them.
They do, yeah.
But sometimes they can look a little uncanny valley sometimes, which, there's some faces I'm like, look really good, and some faces may go, ugh.
Like, some of the panels are really well drawn.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, the Christmas pie, right at the beginning of the first chapter, you've got all these characters, and you can see their faces clearly, you can see their dresses, and they all are distinctly different from each other. There's no, like, duplicates or samey. They're all distinctly different. They're like, let me just count quickly on this Christmas panel here. Just like a little, it's not even a full page. It's only top part of it. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25 in that one panel, and they're all distinctly detailed, and all have different emotions going on. That takes so much time and effort, and so few will do that.
Yeah,
That
I'm looking at the elevator
really
panel.
impressive.
It's got reflections, its floors really well done. Really good.
It's the detail is crazy. I mean, obviously, you got action panels where it's just focusing the character, and there's no background in them. But he's not afraid to have the background. And there's also occasionally we get some nice like detailed color panels for like key moments, and they're nice. Like that bit where the right beginning, the very first beginning, the first chapter where you see like the satellite come crashing down with fire. The fire reflection, like they actually reflecting the fire accurately in the water, where you've got it comes in. It's a lot more brighter and dark in the middle, and the color changes as it goes
I
out.
will have these on screen when we're talking about these.
The amount of time that goes into that, and then the bit where the building's getting blown up as well, and you see this shockwave color blast going outwards. The time and effort, it's just crazy. Really impressed.
It is really well drawn.
One of the shots though at the 12 hours earlier shot definitely looks like it's something that's been using like some reference image to do that one.
I
So
think
I
a
guess
lot
it's
of them
supposed
will
to
be
be in Paris.
references.
I guess it's supposed to be in Paris then, because it's got the Eiffel Tower. But anyway, like I said, the art for me is amazing. Like I said, the faces do sometimes be a bit uncanny valley, which is a little bit.
It's different than the ones I usually read, but it's really well drawn. It's something
They're
I
very
could get
much.
some time to get used to.
They're actually accurate ethnicity drawing. Like
Yeah.
People actually look like the ethnicity
Yeah.
rather than most manga where it's just this. They don't look like real people. They're very much like this thing. These actually look. It's like basically how
It's like they're based
Yakuza
on real people.
games have different to most Japanese games. That kind of aspect, I guess, would be a good way of putting it.
Yeah, it's like they're definitely based on real people.
Potentially, very much the case. So design wise, all the characters are wearing very classy, smart clothing, befitting of like a top hell hotel.
And they all look
There's not
distinct enough
much,
from each other.
they very much look like real people's. Their designs very much look like real people. Not much to say. Nothing outlandish. They all look like things that you'd see in a top end hotel, I guess.
And sometimes that's just enough.
Yeah.
Lots of times with the outfits are fine.
When you're going for, I think this is going for hyper-realism.
Yeah, because even femme fatale ladies wearing suitable dresses.
Yeah, I think it very much looks like the Ada One dress, to be fair. I would say hyper-realism is probably an accurate description of what this manga is going for. I'm just scrolling through some of these pictures. Some of it's so pretty. The amount of detail is just crazy.
And then they add the fantasy elements in there as well, and it clashes. It's quite cool, quite nice.
Like beginning of the chapter 2, just like the carpet. Like, why did you go into so much detail about the background for this? Where he's revealing the pocket watch to him. Just
yeah, because it's like that reveal that made me think that it's the pocket watch doing it.
Yeah.
Because I think in one of the panels he physically moves the they watch hands with his finger, and I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah, and then he goes.
But I don't know. It might be that. It might not be.
Maybe it's like a tool to help. We don't know. It's a very interesting manga. So,
At least for the first 5. We can only state that because I haven't read any further ahead in this.
So I guess that leads us perfectly into the final segment, which is, would we read more? Yes. I'm very curious about the plot. I would like to see more. There's only 32 chapters, so it's not going to take too long to get through.
The first bit, which is Babel 1, is finished. The sequel is not and is still ongoing. Or I don't even know if it is a sequel. It might just be a side story, or I don't know. But the first bit is finished.
It's called Babel the Second. So
I don't even know if that's like the same protagonists or
the character's clearly a different person. So it's different protagonist.
So to that extent, it feels sort of like the building itself is a character.
Yes, I think there's even a hint. I think even when the character says that, actually, that the hotel is a character in its own right. I think even someone says that in the manga.
I've just read it, and I'm just thinking of random exposition off the top of my head. I'm like, you know what? Sounds all right. I mean, I'd give it a go.
Interesting that as I mentioned about the whole biblical references, I just noticed the front cover of the first volume says, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth."
Yeah, because that's stated when all the missiles are dropping. Because when all the missiles are dropping, it writes all those down.
Oh, yeah, it does, doesn't it? Oh, yeah, on the 5th day, yeah.
It really threw me because the text is off.
God created the wild beasts and the livestock, created man his own image. And on the 7th day, he rested. And then everything is obliterated.
Yeah, real nice.
The destruction and the beginning is what
I think a good part of this that I'd want to continue as well is because it's finished.
It's finished. It's
mysteries that are finished are great. Mysteries that you're halfway through are horrible.
It's finished and it's not 500 chapters. And to be honest, it's ever manga when it gets to that point ever. Like, a few hundred chapters, are they ever finished?
Some are. It's just mystery ones are quite hard to finish. So if I was to start a mystery series, it's best if it is finished already.
Yes.
Because I don't want to get halfway through and then have to stop because it got cancelled or I've caught up to the translations and then have to reread it all again because of what context I'd miss and forget.
There's nothing worse than the manga where they cancel the English translations. I've got a book series here. We've got 9 books for it, and the 10th book, which is a sequel book, is the 10th single-lone book, where it kind of finishes the plot. Never released in English. The first 9 you can buy in the shops. The 10th one you can't get in English. Nothing more annoying than that.
I mean, we may eventually get round to reviewing that, but at the moment,
that's Nora. Yeah, mention when I get to that. So that I think wraps up our end of this manga. So we need to sort out the what we cover for next time. So
yes, because we stated it's going to be a spinning wheel and be random.
Yes, let's try that for a second.
Well, give it a go.
Let's have a crack at that. Oh god, I had this working earlier. I'm not sure you can hear that.
No. But it is spinning, it's fine. I can see it.
So it's picked out. Basically, at the wheel at the moment has got a bajillion like numbers on it, so I don't know what they are. So let's type in the number. So it's picked out Hell's Tormentor Kraken. Do you know that one?
No.
What the hell is that? Yeah, no. we're not doing that one.
Yeah,
That from cover. No.
we
We're
say
not
we're
covering
going
that
to
one.
choose the ones on the wheel, but to an extent.
To an extent, if have you seen
Yeah.
cover on this one?
Wow.
No. Hell's Tormentor Cracker. Just look that up on the manga one. That is what we call Border H, I think would be.
It does have the erotica tag, so no, we're good.
Has a smut tag as well. No, we're not covering that one.
But it's also by the it's the author of two of my favourite series too, so that's depressing.
Oh, what is it?
Akame ga Kill and Saihate no Slave.
I thought that was just the artist. I know the author. Oh,
Yeah.
good God, he's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, we're not doing that one.
Okay, that'll be on the list of. That'll be removed from the wheel. Let's try this again. Let's spin the wheel. And it's picked Megane no Sprinter.
No.
I
I
know
know
this
that one off by heart.
No.
I know that one.
The story summary of that.
We don't have to get into that, it's fine.
I think it sums up perfectly why we're not doing that one.
Why is it chose this? Why is it chose a ecchi again?
Not even worse, smut. Okay, third time lucky. We'll get third time lucky. Let's try to get third time lucky. Zeion no Quasar. Seriously. Have you messed with my spinner?
From across the internet, of course I have.
Well, it seems our spinner has become sentient and decided to fuck with us. We aren't doing Zeion no Quasar or its spiritual sequel, Nectar Dahir. We do not need to do the breastfeeding manga.
You have the worst luck in the world for looking for these, you know.
Tell me about it. Right, fourth time. The spinner better not give us something smart, because I will burn it. It has given us The Kidnapped Bride, which isn't sounding too.
That sounds
good.
fine.
Let's have a quick look. Actually, bloody well type it in. That'd be nice. Okay.
That'd be the first webtoon we'd do.
It also has the smut tag. Really? Seriously? Oh wait. The people in the comments are saying it has no nudity. Okay, fine, we'll do this one. It seems like it was people saying it's mistagged. This is the only wheels only going to give us stuff that has certain tags, is it? Seriously? Right, final manga. This better give me something I can use.
Yeah, give us number 6.
So number 6 will be Monster Hunter Flash Hunter. Ooh, I like myself being Monster Hunter. I think we'll do that one definitely. Have you read Flash Hunter?
No. I've read a couple of the Monster Hunter mangas, but not them all.
Well, that'll be number 6. So next episode will be The Kidnapped Bride, which will be our first webtoon, and episode 6 will be Monster Hunter Flash Hunter.
Yes.
So until then, have a good day.
And if people do want to follow along and read these two, you're free to do that as well.
That's the point of us telling them, but yes.
I've got to say it as well, it's fine.
Yeah, you might as well. Right. See you later.